Alright guys, so today I have a little project. I got this ethanol sensor and gauge that I installed a long time ago in a YouTube video that's pretty cringy. But I got a new one. Well, it's actually used, but I got it from a buddy who took it off of his truck and he sold his truck, so he doesn't need this anymore. So we're gonna go ahead and install this and get it all set up on the truck. And I'm curious to see how much ethanol content is in the fuel that's in the tank right now. Like what's my mixtures been, because theoretically it's been E30, but I don't know, might be less, might be more. We're gonna see in just a moment, but let's get to installing this. Got a little wiring to do for this bad boy, so let's get to it. All right, so when you guys get this kit, it's gonna come with this gauge right here. Innovate Motorsports ethanol gauge. It's gonna come with this gauge, all right, and that's separate. And it's also gonna come with this cord. This cord is going to plug into the sensor and then also into the gauge. This right here plugs into the gauge over here. All right, so it comes with this cord. This cord is gonna run through wherever you're going to mount your gauge. It's going to run from there through the floor. There's a grommet. I'll show you where all that stuff is in a moment. You're going to go through the floor to the ethanol sensor. This is the sensor right here. You can see that's where the flow goes through. That's where it plugs in. This little piece of hose here is something that my buddy customized. This is very similar to how it was. Very similar to the one that I customized for my old truck, and we're gonna see if I can use this piece. I may have to customize it a little bit longer. We'll see if this reaches. I'm not sure if it will yet. But this is theoretically how it's gonna kind of look, and then everything else in this bag we're not using that. This is just a cord for, like, if you're doing some onboard data logging type stuff and you want to use it directly from this thing, which is silly. We data log right from our RTD HP tuners device. So anyways, gonna run this cord right now. Actually probably first check to see if this fits. All right, so it rained a ton yesterday, and like a ton meaning the river is overflowing and has caused some people to have to evacuate. Anyways, so I'm gonna lay down on this thing. All right, so it's kind of hard to see, but there is the connector for the fuel line right there. So I'm gonna disconnect that, and then this this silver line that you see right there, it goes over probably, I don't know, right over here. So the question is this too long? This might be too long, actually. Okay, so after you disconnect it from there, you can then swing this piece over here so you can get to this connector. Otherwise it's way over here and it's hard to get to. So I'm gonna swing it over here and pop that connector off, and then we'll see how long this piece is to see if the piece I have will work or if we need to shorten it. All right, so you guys can see, here's the piece that I took off the truck, and here is the custom piece here. I did have to shorten it a little bit. It was a little bit too long. The one because it came off my buddy's truck, and his was a different year, 2018, and you can see it was a little bit too long, so I just cut I cut it so that it fits, so that it matches the length of this one. So I think we're gonna go slap this bad boy in there. All right, there it is. Just installed it. It's all clipped in there. You guys can see it where it plugs in right there. It's the top of the tank. Obviously this is a 36 gallon, so it kind of hangs over this way a little bit. But now I got to just run the cord over here and plug it in. You guys see that grommet in there? That's where we're gonna come up. We'll come over here, underneath here, and we'll shoot right up this thing, up into here, and then we'll figure out where we're gonna mount our gauge. Somewhere somewhere I can see, but somewhere out of the way. Okay, so what I did is I took a knife and I made a little slit right there in that grommet. And I'm gonna reach in through here and shove that wire through. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. All right guys, I'm gonna take this end and push it through the bottom. All right, so we got the cord through there. Let's go ahead and run this end of the cable to the sensor. That way we know how much cord we can have inside the truck. Don't know if you can see it plugged in there, but I basically ran it up and over top of the frame rail there. There's where it comes out. Give it a little bit of slack. Right through the floor, just like that. I'll let you guys take a look. Looks real nice. So now we have a ton of this wire to go wherever we want to go with it. I'm thinking of maybe setting, because I don't have a gauge pod, I'm thinking maybe setting the gauge right in there, because that way I can see it while I'm driving. But it doesn't need to be right up here where my methanol gauge is. So we'll just kind of stick it, I don't know, over here in the corner, something like that maybe, if it'll sit there. Here's the wire that comes from our sensor. This is just going to plug in to there, just like that, okay? So that's easy. So then all you're left with is a yellow, brown, black, white, and red. Well, if you read the directions, we don't need brown or yellow because those are for like some analog data log inputs that we don't really care about. Then if you really want the device to dim with your headlights, you would use the white wire, but that's just too much of a pain in the butt. I'm not gonna have my device right up in front of my eyes, so I don't care about that either. Then we have red. This is gonna be our power. So this is gonna be a 12-volt switch source, and I'll show you where we can get that from. And then this black wire is gonna be a ground, which we just need to find a good ground source somewhere under here, to the frame, hopefully somewhere. There might be a good spot behind here, but we'll see. So we just need to run one wire from that to a ground, and then one wire from here over there to the kick panel on the passenger side. So I've got a roll of wire here. This is larger wire than this, which that's fine. You just don't want to go, I wouldn't go smaller than this. We're gonna drill a hole, and I don't like doing this too much because I don't want to ruin the truck. But in this case, this hole is gonna be imperceptible. And I'll show you guys why in a second. All right. So just kind of pull this out of the way. Basically, I'm going to drill a hole right about here, kind of in the bottom of this little area right there, so that the wires can come through there. This seems like a really bad idea, guys. All right, guys, there's the gauge. I pushed the wires through that hole and pulled them out right there. I need to put that screw back. All right, guys, so I have to get a ground into the engine bay because there's really not anywhere to go to hook up a ground underneath here. It's really just not a good spot. So I'm gonna take this to the engine bay. I pushed a fish tape through here, through the grommet right there that goes into the engine bay. Electrician skills coming in here. So I'm just gonna pull it out and just kind of unroll this wire a little bit. Then we'll come into the engine bay here. Just pull on this. And there's our wire. I'll probably come right over here and hook it up to right there. So that's probably long enough. Put the ground right on there and ran the wire through the firewall. So what I decided to do, and on your truck, you probably shouldn't do this, but in my case, I just went ahead and tapped into one of the existing connections that I already have for power for my methanol gauge here. All right guys, got it all hooked up. You can't even tell where it's at. It's because it's behind all that stuff. You can see one wire right there kind of going up, but I wanted to make sure nothing was in the way of the gas pedal, especially not the gas pedal. Good boy. No, and especially not in the way of the brake pedal. So let's go ahead and go grab my key and we'll fire this bad boy up. All right guys, so as you can see, as I'm sitting here, I can easily see that ethanol sensor, which is right there. So let's go ahead and turn on the truck, or we're just gonna turn on the, there we go. Okay, as you guys can see, we've got 34.6 is our ethanol content. You can see we're sitting at E34.2 right now in the tank, so 34% ethanol. Got our computer, got our laptop over here. I'm actually gonna go ahead and start the truck. Gonna go ahead and run our data log here soon. Gonna connect to the truck. Wait for that to connect up. Okay, there we go. All right, and then I'm just gonna poise this over top of that. Hey guys, so I thought this would be kind of a cool little addition to the video here. It's kind of off topic, but right here I have a fresh coconut right off of a tree right over there, down here in Belize. And this stuff is so good. I'm gonna show you guys just me cutting this open and then taking a little sip of coconut water. Amazing stuff. All right guys, and there you can see there's that delicious coconut water. It's so good. I'm gonna take a sip right now. I forgot to film an outro for this video, so I just realized it as I was here on my vacation in Belize. So that's gonna be it for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. There's gonna be a lot more coming soon. Got injectors, a bunch of other stuff, and some really crazy stuff I can't tell you about just yet, but got a lot of stuff coming, so stay tuned and we'll catch you guys in the next video. Golly!